to Girlfriends Chit Chat Show. We are so excited today, you all, because we have an amazing young lady with us today. And we are so thrilled to learn more about her book that she has just launched. We are so excited. But with no further ado, you all, my name is Amira Bay, and I'm the host of the Girlfriends Chit Chat Show. And this is Shauna Price, my co-host. And y'all, we're going to do some talking today with this beautiful young lady today. We have Miss Jessica Johnson with us today.
Hi, Jessica.
We are so excited because she has just released Just Finding My Way. What I think is so amazing, she said, a journey through faith, family, marriage, and self-discovery. Yes. And we are here to dive a little deep. You ain't going to get everything, everybody. You're going to get a little bit. We want you to go out and we want you to get this awesome book this young lady has done. So, Jessica, tell us a little bit about the book.
So it is basically me going on a rerouting type of thing. Let's put it that way. So I literally had my life mapped out, what I wanted to do. You know, at this age I want to do this, at that age I want to do that, da 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 da. And it was like, life was like, and then it flipped for me. Like, I don't even know if it seemed like just like that, you know. So right after I graduated high school, I was, you know, in school working because I was like, you know, I'm this independent, you know.
Yeah, you independent,
this
yeah.
Independent thing. So I was working hard, I was studying hard, and I actually ended up meeting my husband on my job. And then it was like after that, things began to shift because I ended up becoming pregnant at 19. And then, you know, got married young. And I literally had to put my life on pause. And that was something that I was not to do or even have. I wanted to enjoy life, not as far as like, you know, going on multiple dates and all that stuff. That wasn't my mentality. But I wanted to enjoy becoming who I thought Jessica was.
Oh,
you know.
Wait a minute.
And it was a lot different, you know. Now being somebody's wife, being somebody's mother.
Yes.
And one thing I did is I started putting myself on the back burner. And especially so young, it's like you didn't even realize, you didn't even really know who you were from the jump. So now you got to put everything and everybody else before you while you're still in the fog about what you want.
But being 19, that's to be expected. And a lot of times we don't really, even as we grow and evolve as women, even looking at myself, I'm still growing. Mm-hmm. There are things about you that will continue to change. Because you're 19 pregnant, it doesn't mean it was all over. Right. It just got you to a place of, this is not where I saw myself at 19.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's what you saw most of all, is that when we look at 19, thinking, like you said, you want to travel, you want to see the world, you want to do you.
Typical teenage
Yeah,
stuff.
you want to do you. It's about you. If you wanted to go off to school, if you wanted to, do the things you want to do. But what allowed you to realize that now is the time for me to kind of reveal and rediscover who I am? What got you to that place? Because after you went through, having your child and then getting married, where did you see yourself becoming? What did you see yourself becoming as time went along? After the baby, after the marriage?
We're getting deep already.
They said we're getting deep already.
Oh man,
that's surface.
That was the main question for me. Because I get so emotionally invested into everybody, and it became a lot, a whole lot. And I had got to a point where, like, postpartum actually became full-on depression.
Right.
Because there's one thing, there's one thing to just be like, oh, I'm just so sad, I'm so tired all the time, da, 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 da. But then it's just like, I noticed as my baby was growing, my emotions wasn't changing. So I had to realize like something was literally wrong, because I literally thoughts of ending it all on multiple occasions. And I had got to a point where I considered my son, my eldest son, like my guardian angel, because anytime I had those thoughts, he would literally walk in the room.
They know.
Wow.
And it wasn't like I could be behind a door. It didn't even matter. He would, mommy, mommy. And I'm just like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it would, granted, like I would still feel the way I did, but I do feel like a lot of times, I'm not gonna cry today. I felt like a lot of times, he was like literally my saving grace, and I can literally thank God for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing of somebody saying, "Oh, I have a guardian angel," but God knows I'm a visual learner. So having him physically there, it was like, okay, so I'm obviously supposed to be here.
That's right.
But it's hard to figure out why you want me here and why I'm going through what I'm going through.
Yeah, because it's
so young.
It's definitely not just your kids.
Yeah.
He was. I get that feeling, like on days when I'm not feeling as well, because some days I'm not feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
My little baby is always like, oh, like give me a hug.
Yes.
Give me a hug, and it's that kind of like that rejuvenation that says, okay, God, I can make this, I can do this. But here's the thing, right? I think that sometimes, and I really want to commend you on the fact that you realize something in your 20s that most women are realizing in their 40s.
Correct. Yes.
Right? We're realizing, who am I?
Yes.
We're trying to figure out, who am I outside of somebody's wife, mother, sister, aunt?
Yep.
Who am I?
Right.
And you realize it now because this is what you have to, I believe you have got to share this with the young women coming up, that because there are going to be women coming up doing what you have done. They're going to, they may get pregnant young, they may marry young, and you walk this path, right?
Yes.
Your purpose becomes fulfilled when you begin to understand the things that you're going through.
Right.
Yep.
So amazing as you are, amazing as you are, like even with writing the book. Because the first question I wanted to ask you was, how did you know you wanted to put that in pages?
Here's the thing, and I've literally said this in here. I let you know flat out, I had no intention of writing a book. I literally, my overall thing, I wanted to get into makeup. I wanted to be in the beauty industry.
It looks good.
I had no intention of ever writing a book, or ever sharing my story like that. Now, granted, I wouldn't mind doing it in church or something like that, testimony. But as far as a book, it's like, that just don't seem like me, But I had to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
yes, that's true.
With what God was wanting me to do. And it literally started around, I want to say like 2018. And I just started writing. It was kind of like a little diary kind of thing for me. It was just kind of like, ugh, you don't feel like talking to nobody, so you just like writing out your thoughts. But I never like wanted to go anywhere. It was just kind of like, all right, I got that off my chest, I can move on. But then it was like, I was like, do more. I need you to keep writing. Do more. And I'm like, do more. So then I would go back, like, all right. But then I would like erase it off because I'm like, why am I even talking about this? Like, it's not like nobody's gonna read it. And that was my main thing. Nobody's gonna read this. So what's the point? So I deleted it and everything. Then the pandemic hit. And obviously we're all locked at home, can't do anything. And God's just like, I need you to write that book. You're gonna write that book. I need you to write that book. I just need you to trust me and write that book. And I'm like, all right. So I started, didn't even have a name yet. It was just writing. Didn't like what I originally wrote. Deleted it all again. He's like, write the book. Write the book. Didn't even know how chapters were gonna go and all that stuff. I'm literally just and I want to say maybe around February 2021, because I literally had stopped for months in 2020. I stopped writing because I was like, it's like, God, I get it, but like I don't get it. Like I'm
A lot of times it's like that. You don't know how he's directing you.
Yeah, it's just like I
He
just
just
don't
needs you to
understand.
do the work
Yeah,
so that you
that's
keep
right.
showing you.
So I started just focusing on makeup a lot more, and it was more like a distraction.
Mm.
But now that I think about it, granted I'm good at it, but it
Mm.
was an unnecessary distraction, I would say, because like I'm really good to go without makeup.
Yeah, you're pretty.
I honestly don't need it, but it was like then I started questioning that. Why did I even get into makeup? Like, cause it kind of, and then I saw a post one day, and it was talking about like a lot of people feel like I'm wearing makeup because I'm hiding and da da da. And I was like, dang, is that what I'm doing? But like metaphorically, like is that what I'm doing inside? So then I had went back to the book and I was like, huh. Out of nowhere, it was just like, whole book was written, and I said, okay, Lord. I said, I wrote the book. I said, but I need you to help me come up with a name.
Right.
I said, because this is your doing, so I want you to be a part of every step.
Absolutely.
And it was just kind of like he was telling me, I need you to share your journey to help people find their way. And I was like, find their way?
Ah, I love it.
And I was like, they're just finding their way. Okay. Then I was like, hold on. And then, my mother, she used to, well, still does, she called me like, just because, because it sounds like just. So I was like, because I originally wrote just finding my way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, nah, that don't seem personal. It seems just kind of like a guidebook more than like sharing my story. So I was like, just finding my way. All right. I hear
And
you,
that
God.
was it.
I hear you, God. Okay.
So, Jess, let me ask you this question, because if I'm reading your book, when you finish, when you put the last period, exclamation point, or whatever, what was your hope that you would, or what is the hope? I could say, or what was the hope when you closed it? What did you say that you want from others to get from your book?
Well, that question took a lot of prayer because I needed answers for that one myself. So I was like, okay, I wrote it. What do I do with it? I'm literally going out on faith about something I know nothing about. I don't know anything about writing a book. So it was just like, what is it supposed to do? Mm-hmm. And there's literally I realize it's a lot of young women, and a lot of probably aren't even young, who still struggle with finding their way, or they feel alone and things of that nature. And then it's just kind of like I literally want to show that no matter how low it gets, no matter how far down it gets, you have nowhere left to go but back up. So it's like you can either stay where you are or you can go up. And for the sake of what I had to learn is not only for the sake of my children, but I do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because it's my journey. My husband, I had to realize my husband and kids weren't there when it all started. So I have to trust God in order to figure out all this.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So that way I could be the best way. Be the best
Yeah.
way. And be the best me
that you can
that I
possibly
can
be. Mm-hmm. Now, if you could for me, because I want y'all to get a little bit of an understanding of what her book is about. Her to read a little bit. So we're gonna read from her chapters in her books. You all can kind of let it resonate with you.
Okay, so I want to read from one of my personal favorite parts. Okay. Who was for me and who was against me. Listen, around late 2021, I made it clear that I wanted God to open my eyes so that I could see who I needed to keep in my life and who I needed to set free. Being a young mother or just a mom in general is that we all go through postpartum depression whether we want to or not. I'm sure we've heard this a million times and more, but please check on your friends who are moms. We go through a lot and tend to feel alone most of the time. Our bodies and emotions struggle to share our space, and it's a constant battle that needs compassion and understanding. I believe the quote is accurate. If you want to know your real friends, you should do one of three things. For some reason, people like you when you're down and feed off of your failure for some reason. The way I see it, the more people walk away from me, the closer I am to my breakthrough. I keep my eyes open not as a sign of trust issues, but so that I can get a feel of whether you're for me or against me. Because let me tell you, if you're against me, don't act like you know me when God starts blessing me. In other words, keep that same energy and be blessed.
Come on,
So
T-shirt.
that's where the inspiration from my
like
shirt
that
came
now.
And
from.
listen, and in the bottom it says, in Jesus' name.
In Jesus'
In Jesus'
because
name.
the thing
I
was,
love it.
I was such a big part of my depression as well as I was so busy trying to fit into everybody else's book.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't living in my own story. So when people started walking around, I'm like, man, is it me? Like, did I not? And I was like, no. It's like, okay. So then when a lot of great things started happening in my life, I noticed people started kind of like drawing back in. And during that time when I had wrote that part, that was happening. So I was like, keep that same energy and be, because a lot of times it's not even just friends, family too.
Oh yeah, all day long.
Absolutely.
It doesn't eliminate from that category because even though you have family, sometimes they're not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta also keep in mind, you all, that some people that are in your life are only there for a season.
Mm-hmm. And I had to learn that.
And that's the hard part that a lot of us have to come to grips with, is that the people you want to keep the closest are the ones that are sometimes toxic for your life.
Oh man.
And it's sad, but you can still love them and still care about them and still pray for them, all of those things, but they're not for who you are and where God is moving you. And so God has to move those individuals out of your life to see you grow, to see you move into the person that He's designed for you to be.
Exactly.
And it's kind of, it's sad to look at it that way, because as all of us, we want to have friendships. We want to have those relationships, but everybody is not meant to go with us.
Right.
On that journey. We're on a new journey. And so with you being on the journey you are now, some people are not meant to be there.
Absolutely.
I had to learn that.
They don't get to go for the long haul.
Right.
Maybe they're there for a specific time in your season because they're needed to help.
Yes.
Right? And I think that a lot of times we have to be able to discern who's who, why they're here.
Oh,
Yes.
And then, like you said, do I keep them or do I put them out?
Right. And that's what I needed the most. And that's what helped me really start the healing process of my depression. Because it was like I was trying so hard to keep people who were really just trying to be like, and honestly there doesn't have to be any drama involved.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I was just having that conversation the other day.
I've never had an incident where somebody just walked out of my life because it was a huge blow up or anything like that. It just stops. And I'm just like, well, is it me? Like I've seen it like on social media all the time, somebody saying, is it me? Am I the drama? Like, is it? No. It's not me. It's just, I'm just in transition. I'm not on the same road they're on.
There you go. That's it.
A lot of times it's protection.
Mm-hmm.
It's protection. We're being protected from something. As we're growing up as kids and stuff, our parents are kind of like that. Protection is how we see it.
Yeah.
We miss the fact that maybe that is God guiding our parents to protect us until we become adults, and they're not necessarily protecting us, right? How was it for your family, your mom? You have a sister, right?
Yes.
But how was it for them as you was going through your? I'm going to say it like this, and I don't want you to take offense to it, because I believe that I'm funny about putting things on me, right? So as you was going through the depression, right? because I don't believe it's yours. So I believe it's a state that we've been through. But what was family like for you during that time?
That was the toughest part of my journey because I grew up in a single parent home. I didn't have that full time, mother father situation, and it was hard for a very long time because I began to fear love because it was just kind of like, wow, like my father, he would say, oh, love you, love you, love you, but it just seemed like so lightweight. It started not to really feel like it had any true meaning to it to me. And I became fearful of telling anybody I loved them because I felt like it was going to be stepped on. And so I felt like I was, like you said, protecting. I felt like I was protecting. But what's weird is my mom, she would constantly tell me, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I felt it from her, because obviously, like, kids know, like you said, kids know.
That's true.
Kids know when it's real. And from my mom, I always knew. From my dad, I was never sure. You know what I'm saying? You could say it all day long. Like I say, oh, I love this book, I love this book, I love this book. But if I've never tapped into it or lived it myself, how can I love it? Just because it's here, I'm just throwing out the word love. Oh, I love the cover. Oh, I love the title. But if I've never had an emotional attachment, true emotional attachment to it, how can I say I love it? Or if I cannot relate, how can I love it? And years of my life went by where I was like, listen, I got to the point where I was like, I'm not gonna use that word unless it's meaningful.
Yes, that's true.
And getting married young, that was different too, because now I had to learn how to love somebody I'm married to, not just somebody coming in and out of my life. Now this is somebody full time. Full time in my face, telling me, "Oh, I love you, and I'm just like, love you too. But my husband, he could even see like, he knew I meant it, but it's like reading between the lines kind of thing. Like it's something there. So it took me a while, but I had to learn how to let go of that mindset of how I grew up, fearing love and things like that, and recreate the type of love I wanted.
That's true. That's good.
My kids, they're told they're loved constantly by their mother and father. And it gets me literally emotional all the time because it was something I wish I had. I don't regret at all being raised just by my mother. But I think I was trying to find the love. I think as most young girls do, they kind of look at a guy to try to find the love they missed from their dad.
That's true. Because technically your father, you look to him being your first love. That's like your first relationship. That's your first example.
He the first man you'll know.
And
That's the first man. That's right. That's the first man you'll know. So he set the tone. He laid the foundation of what you expected. So this is what I'm gonna expect, and that's how you functioned. And I get where you're coming from when you say that, because a lot of times that's how we look at it. And so then in return, you don't really fully know how to love another man because you were never shown that same love from your first love.
It's like you go ahead and just put up this wall.
Do you talk about this in your book?
I do.
You do?
I do.
You do. How, was your mom supportive?
Oh, yes.
Very supportive?
Oh, yes. Very. She's literally, oh, man. I consider my mom to be the person who always tells my sister and I, like, once you reach the stars, go beyond that. Don't stop. Go farther. Because she sees a lot of things in my sister and I that maybe we don't see in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I thank God for my mom, because literally if it wasn't for her supporting my book the way she did, I don't feel like I would have really invested myself into. Of course, you can tell your story or you want to, but I learned because of her. I learned how to become emotionally invested and not feel ashamed of what I went through.
That's true, because if you look at your walk and your journey, a lot of people don't know how to express that. They don't want to be judged upon, feeling like depression is bad, or I can't tell you how I feel because then you'll look at me a different way.
Yeah.
Because how many people, because a lot of times we don't want to tell people, I felt suicidal. I felt like I want to take my own life.
Yeah,
and people want to judge you. Yeah, they want to look at you sideways.
It's not that you're crazy. It's just that there are things that at some point in life you feel like, I don't know what to do next, right?
Yeah.
And so we have those thoughts and attempts to say, well, I got enough to do anyways, right?
Yeah.
Then why not? Not understanding that the end of it. Will there be a second book?
There will be, yes.
Oh, look at
Yes,
you.
there is. Yes, there is.
See, in my thought process, it says just finding my way. So I would assume she said she's going to find it.
Yep.
There's not going to be an ing on the end.
Mm-hmm. So
This is amazing because you're like 18.
You're killing me with this. She's killing me with this.
I think she's
Y'all, please don't listen to Shauna. Y'all, please don't listen.
She's
For
not.
those of you wearing
Y'all, she is not 18.
She's
Okay,
not 18.
we don't want y'all getting confused because I know y'all like what? Well, I'm confused.
Married 8 years. She's been married
8 years since she's 10. See, no, don't listen to
No,
her.
but I say that because she's absolutely gorgeous. And at 27, I think I was just getting married at 27. So clearly I wasn't writing a book. And I'm in a place now in my life where some of the things that you talk about experiencing, because I had a baby late, I understand postpartum depression. I understand what it feels like to be alone. And you have those days where you can smile, and then you have those days when you can't get out of bed.
Yep.
So I get that. And so, but to be at 27 and you've already written a book about finding your way, I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
Because you tap into people that are younger. You tap into a younger generation, because those are the ones that are not saying it's broken down to where I can't go through the same things, but because of where you are in your life, there are women, there are other girls that are struggling with those same issues, but they're not expressing it.
Right.
And those are the ones you want to reach. Those are the ones you want to connect with, is figuring out helping them find their way.
Right. Because my main thing is I don't want young women to feel ashamed of their journey, because this is life. It's gonna happen regardless.
Life be lifing, right?
That's
life
a
is
t-shirt.
always life.
That's a t-shirt.
Listen,
She make up some t-shirts.
life
That's a
is
t-shirt.
always lifing, and we have to begin to understand that it's not really against us, right? We just have to learn how to navigate life.
Yes.
That's the thing.
And so
You're going through it, so now it's like, all right.
exactly, what am I getting ready to do next? I'm gonna hop in this car and make it. How do people get this book?
So the book is available on Amazon. And you can also get it through my website at jessicacharday.com. And that's where you can also get this lovely t-shirt.
Keep that same.
I like that
As
t-shirt.
I like to
Blessed.
say, it's
kinda
making
like a
a
clap
statement
back.
without making a statement.
Yeah, it's a clapback,
You know?
a good clapback.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that same energy and be
And be
blessed. Y'all feel
blessed.
that?
Keep that same energy. So as always, we thank you so much, Jessica. You
Thank
all
you.
gotta get finding your way, just finding her way, because this sister done found her way. Trust and believe. Because when the next book come out, y'all, you gonna love this one just as much as you gonna love that second one. But definitely, you all go out, purchase your copy of her book. You all definitely, as always, thank you for being a part of the Girlfriends Chit Chat Show, and we look forward to seeing you again. You all have a good night, and bye bye.
Bye-bye.